So we start, the subject is again happiness and fulfillment. We all know each one of us want to be happy. If there's any one of us that don't want to be happy, let's ask like this. I didn't see a person that doesn't want to be happy. So to be happy, each one of us put the goals, and that's what he want to achieve. Each one of us have a different goals in life, but most of us have the common. So let's start when we're young. When a person gets to the age of 16, 17, the first goal that he put to himself, he wants a driving license. Okay? So he put that goal in his life, he achieved. Then he gets that driving license. The next goal that he wants, now a car. So if he managed to buy a car, if he have the geld, or the parents buying them a car, so they buy him a second-hand car. Once that he have the car, it's not good enough. Why? Because the car is old. He need a new car. The same for us. We have a car. It's too old. We decide that's it. I must buy a new car. After that, the next goal, a person want to get married, find a wife, get married. After you have a wife, you forgot that he signed now that he's become a slave, you know? After you get married, you become a slave. Get married, have a wife, he's happy, the honeymoon finished.
Then he wants a new wife.
Never mind, new wife. Now he start working towards a flat. He want to buy a flat. So he start hiring a flat, renting a flat, buying a flat. Not good enough. Buying a house. I need something bigger. I need to change the furniture. And on and on and on. The same with us, with everything. We have the old cell phone. Nothing wrong with our old cell phone. We buy the iPhone. If the iPhone is not good enough, we buy Samsung. Why? Because we want to be in touch. Why? You want the smartphone. You want to be all the time. Why is that? Did we ask ourselves once in our life, why all the time we have that desire that what we have, we want more. We never stop. Let's look at the animal. I didn't see a lion that have a palace, doesn't have a flat, doesn't have a car, doesn't have a cell phone. They don't want more. So where does it come from? Where does that come from? We have to understand those questions that we have to ask ourselves. And to be happy, we'll see just now that it's not what we think. If I'll get the car, I'll be happy. Because we see that we're not happy. Because if I was happy with the old car, I would stay with my old car. If I would be happy with my cell phone, if that will make me happy, I would stay with my old cell phone. But I changed it. I changed furniture. Quite often we do alteration. The old towel at home is old. I need to refurbish the house. Not that it's wrong, Rabota. I didn't say that it's wrong. But where is that come from? So we have to understand where does it come from. So we start first of all with what our sages tell us. Something very interesting. Our sages tell us in Midrash Rabbah in Kohelet Aleph, Perek Aleph. Our sages say there's something very interesting. It's a long chapter there, but it speaks and it says like this. And our sages say like this: En adam met v'hatzi ta'avato beyado. A person, lo aleinu, after the age of 120, when he died, he didn't fulfill a half of the desire that he wanted. Ta'avato is the desires. Many of us want to reach to become a millionaire. I didn't see a person that you ask him, you want to be rich, he'll tell you not. Everyone want to be the cleverest man, the strongest man, the smartest man. So where is it ever stop? Where is it ever stop? That's the main question. So we have to understand where does it start. So to understand that, we're going to start with what our sages tell us in Masechet Avot, chapter 4, Mishnah Aleph, verse 1. Let's see what our sages say. That's referring to our sage Ben Zoma. And Ben Zoma say like this: Ezehu hacham, halomed mikol adam. Ben Zoma asks, who's the smartest person? if they would ask us who's the smartest person, what would you say? Compared to all the other people, he's the smartest, nachon? That's how you would put it together. And then he brought a source to it. Then he said, Ezehu Gibor, who's the strongest man on earth? You compare to all the other person, this is the strongest man. What is our sage say? Hakovesh et yitzro, a person that managed to control his desire, yetzer. Let's move on. Ezehu Ashir, who's the rich person? Again, the world would say, compare it to other people. Our sages said something differently. Hasameach bechelko, a person that is happy with what he has, similar to what Brian said. Brian, similar to that. Ezehu Mechubad, who's a respectable person? We would say that the entire people respect him. Our sage said not. Ben Zoma said differently. Hamechabed ad habriot, a person that respects others. So who's right, who's wrong? We have to understand. Because the world, when they're measuring something, they measure it and compare it to someone else. We compare it to other people. Our sages tell us no. Compare it to yourself all the time. You want to know who's rich? Check if you're happy with yourself. And let's see if we're happy with ourselves. Not only that, we have to understand that before we move on, this is like the introduction for what we're going to speak about happiness. Our sages tell us that whatever a person has in this life, whatever happened to him, especially say whatever happened, not only that, whatever he gets, whatever he managed to achieve, the goal that he put for him during his life, whatever he achieved, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Almighty, wanted to give him. And if he wanted more and HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give it to him, it's most probably not good for him. Pashut, that's our sages. We have to understand that. So to understand what's happening, I'm going to start to explain that with a story. We all know Rabbi Akiva. Everyone here heard about Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, one of his rabbi was Nahum Ish Gamzu. One of his rabbi. Nahum Ish Gamzu, that was his name. And he used to say, every time that something happened to him, Gamzu Letova. What it means, Gamzu Letova? Whatever happened, it's also for good. Rabbi Akiva, that was his student, he also continued in the same way that Nahum Ish Gamzu, and he used to say it a bit differently. Kol da'avid rahamana. Whatever. By the way, Rabbi Akiva said that in Masechet Brachot, page 60, page 2. If you look at page 62, Rabbi Akiva used to say it, Kol da'avid rahamana letav avid. That means whatever the Almighty do, He do only for good. We'll see if it's true, if it's not. And I would like to start to mention two stories, and through them we try to understand what is happiness. We all know, I don't know if you all know the story about Rabbi Akiva, that he was going from city to city to try to collect money for his yeshiva. The Midrash tells us there's a story. And one night he arrived to a city that's surrounded with a wall. He arrived after darkness, and the gate was closed. He knocked on the door, and the security guy that was on duty answered him, and he said, "Can I help you?" He said, "Listen, in a way, would you mind let me into the city?" He said, "Look, there is a rule here in this city that after darkness, we do not open the door." So Rabbi Akiva asked him, "Do you mean that I'm going to sleep now outside on the field?" He said, "Look, that's the rules, that's the law. I can't break the law, they're going to fire me." He said, "Can you ask inside?" He said, "Look, this is the rules. Many people before you try, I cannot open the gate. We close it at night. We frighten from bandits that they might going to come and going to start causing problem." Rabbi Akiva, what can he do? But he knew. He kept it in his mind. Kol da'avid rahamana letav avid. He was riding a donkey. He have a rooster. And he have a candle with him. What can he do? He climbed up to the upper hill. He said, on the top of the hill, it's safer. Gone to sleep. Next to him is the donkey, the rooster for him to wake him up in the morning, and the candle. He decided, you know what? Let me study a bit. I have a candle. So he light the candle. Here come the wind, blew the light of the candle off. Blew the candle off. He can't see, he can't learn. Okay? Gone to sleep. In the middle of the night, he wake up, and he hear the donkey screaming. A lion killed it. Okay? What can he do? Next thing he hear the rooster screaming. A fox eat it. What can Rabbi Akiva say? He say, Kol David Rahmana letav. Whatever the Almighty do, he do it for good. Let's stop here. Now remember, Rabbi Akiva have a donkey. A donkey is the car. Imagine the engine of the car seized or burned. Can we say, whatever the Almighty do, he done it for good? Think about it. The donkey was his car. The engine seized down or burned down. Okay? The rooster that used to wake him up in the morning, that rooster been eaten by a fox. That's the alarm clock. Gone. The candle, there is power failure. It's in South Africa, it's very common. We have quite often power failure. You know what I'm saying? So imagine we have power failure. Okay? Rabbi Akiva looked at it and he said, whatever the Almighty do, he do it for good. In the morning when he wake up, he saw the smoke coming from the city that he asked to get in. What's happened? A group of bandits managed to enter the city. Not only that, they burned the city, they took many people as a hostage, as a slave. Rabbi Akiva been saved. He said to himself, if I was inside, I can be one of those. The same what's happened to those people inside the city, that can happen to me. But Rabbi Akiva didn't think like this. He said, whatever the Almighty done, he done it for me. Our sages carry on and tell us another story about a man that he used to go once a year on a boat. He had some money, and he used to go overseas, used to buy a lot of things that they never used to get it in his country, used to take that merchandise that he used to buy, and with that was enough for him to live for a year. 1 year, that person was so much in stress, and he was very late to catch the ship, and he was running, and he didn't take notice. Our sages tell us that he was running, and he stood up on a nail. The way that our sages tell us that in the Gemara, it says like this, Yashav lo masmer beraglo. That means that he stood on top of a nail. They took him immediately to a doctor. They need to get attention. They managed to take the nail out. He was screaming, please do it, hurry. If not, I'm going to lose that boat. And he lost that boat. He lost. Didn't manage to get to the boat. He was swearing, screaming. You can't believe. Once a year, it's only once a year. You can imagine how upset he was. 2 weeks later, came a note that the boat that he was supposed to go on business on drowned. And all the people that was in that boat died. He took that nails that he stood on and he used to kill it. So this is the two stories that I wanted to share with you. And now we're going to move on to understand whatever happened to us, we have to look at it in a positive way. So that's two stories happened in the olden days. How does it fit with us today? You know, a person quite often go to a shidduch. Everyone know what is a shidduch? No. Shidduch is a matchmaking. A person want to find a wife. He asks a matchmaker you know, and they find for him a shidduch. And he's really have the heart for the lady, or the lady have the heart for that man. But one of them doesn't want. And he's very upset. She's very upset. Okay? Another analogy. A person have a job. After a while, he lost his job. It was a good job. He can make a living. He couldn't be a millionaire, but he can make a living. He lost the job. How can it be that you can say that things that happened to that person is all for good? Let's move on. A person have a car, and the engine is down. The same like happened to Rabbi Akiva with his donkey. Can we say that it's good for the person? How can it be good? A person lost his job, the shidduch didn't work. Let's stop here. Let's start to understand. A person have a shidduch, didn't work out. He wanted her, she didn't want him, or the opposite. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly what's good for you. Maybe you have the heart for her. Maybe that's not the person that's good for you to share your life with her. We don't know. Hashbonot Shamayim, we don't know.
Not Bashet.
It's not your bashet, yeah. A person lost his job now. He doesn't know. He's upset now. Give it a few years. Give it a year time, 2 years time. Suddenly he found out, listen, if I would stay in that job, where would I be? I can be the same. Today, he's a manager of a company. Took a while, but he found a job. He moved on. He's a manager. He earned 5 times what he used to earn. We don't understand Hashbonot Shamayim. But if HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it to us, we have to understand that he done it only for good. Whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu do, we have to understand that it's only for good. Now we have to understand, the same like the little boy, that when he reached the age of 16, he put for him the goal. What was his goal? The driving license. When he achieved that goal of getting the driving license, he never stopped. He wanted more. What does he want now? Now he wants a car. When he got the car, that wasn't good enough. Why? Because he wants a brand new car. All of his friends driving brand new car. Other people driving brand new car. So the question that we have to ask ourselves, when does it ever stop? It's never stop. I can tell you now, it will never stop, because our sages say. Hazal tell us something very interesting. In Sefer Kohelet, in chapter 6, by the way, that say that the Hacham Mikol Adam, the smarter person that ever been, that's Shlomo HaMelech. And he said that in his book Kohelet, chapter 6 and verse 7. Gam hanefesh lo timaleh. That means that also the soul will never be fulfilled. What does that mean? How come that animal doesn't looking for a new house, new furniture, doesn't change the territory, doesn't go overseas for holidays? They're happy with what we have. How come we not happy? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Did you ask ever yourself? Did you look at your pet at home? You saw the cage that he had. Did you ever change his cage? I don't think so. The same cage that he had, that's where he stays. He doesn't complain. As a matter of fact, he's only happy when he goes to sleep there. He's happy with what he gets. Not only that, when you give him his food, he's quite often happy to eat it. He doesn't need the mivami, he doesn't need metzuyan, he doesn't need all the others. He have one diet. Doesn't look all the time to different diet. But us, we're not happy. Why? Did you ask yourself why? Any ideas? Very quiet tonight, you.
They say the more you have, the more you should.
Okay, that's right.
It gets worse.
That's right. That's what our sages tell us. Hazal say, Yesh lo maneh, a person that have one, he want two. יש לו 200, you have 200, you want double, you want 400. Yeah, so what's the chokhmah? But why? Why is that? Why we all the time want more? That's the question. Yetzer hara.
Not always good.
You say Yetzer hara.
The challenge to control it.
Okay. Anyone agree with him?
No,
Harold doesn't agree.
I'll say we're not content because we've got to advance. Humanity has to advance. And that's why if we were all content, there would never be advancement in the world.
Okay. So why you want to eat all the time? I mean, you eat in a meal. You come now to a simcha at lunchtime. You know that you're full. At supper, you can't eat at home. You come to a simcha, the food is there, the buffet is beautiful. You don't have to pay for the meal. There is chicken, there is meat, there is stew, there is lamb. I'm not talking about the salad. And there is dessert. When you finish the dessert, there is coffee. But you're full, you're eaten. Okay, let's say that you're hungry. No, eat chicken. Eat the stew. No, you have to have stew, lamb, chicken, rice, salad, whatever you want to call it. Why so much?
Hungry.
You don't want to waste. That's a very nice way to put it. But let's look at it. Okay, if you don't want to waste, there's Coke, there's Fanta. No, Coke and Fanta is no good. There's Black Label, I'll have Black Label. But there's Bells next to you. Black's is not good enough. The Bells is not good enough. There is at 21 years old, Chivas Regal or a nice Johnny Walker, you know. You're definitely not going to take the Bells, huh? You agree with me?
Sure.
Sorry? Sure. Okay. And if you have a single malt, you can ask Menachem. He'll never look at anything else. Am I right, Menachem? Because Menachem is a friend of whiskey. So where does it stop? Why do we always want better? So if you say not to waste, I agree. I wouldn't waste also 21 years old whiskey or single malt. You agree with me, Menachem? It's a special taste.
It's special quality.
Okay.
Why do you take a rubbish shirt? The rubbish shirt, it costs 2 rand.
Yeah.
You take a good shirt, it costs 20 rand.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Because it's uncomfortable to wear a rubbish shirt, maybe. Or it doesn't last.
But who know about it? I'll ask you, if I wear that shirt, if it's on the back, I don't know, Dolce Gabbana, I don't know, I'm not good with fashion, but if it's on at Woolworths, or it's on it made in China, will you know the difference? No. I definitely wouldn't know.
Yeah, but if you buy it one time, you make a mistake. Because you buy the shirt because it's cheap and it looks all right, you buy it.
Okay.
But you know you're not going to buy it again because of the quality.
Okay, I agree with you. You know what? If you buy a Woolworths shirt, and a Woolworths shirt costs X amount, or Edgar's, whatever you want to call it, I'm just bringing. And you go to one of the most fashionable, I don't know which one is the fashion, you want to call it Levi's. In my time it was Levi's. Today there is so many, you don't know where to stop. And you wear it. And you don't see the tag on it, you just look at it on the outside. Will you know if that bought at Woolworths or that bought at... no. So what's the difference? It's fit me nicely.
Okay, but it's counter to what you're saying. You're saying you want better. You don't necessarily want better. You want something that's comfortable.
It's comfortable. It's definitely comfortable.
But you know what the tag says? The tag says Woolworths or Edgar's or Schmendrick's. So you buy it.
So why do you buy it? That's the question. That's why always I want to buy the higher.
I've got an idea. Maybe you can look at it in a positive light. You go to Shir, you're learning Torah, but you always want to learn more. Or you should want to learn more.
The difference is, if that's what you're saying, that's what I waited for someone to say. You agree with him, Joe? Shakor? So if that's the case, what you're saying, Shi'ur Torah, when you're finished,
You want to hear more.
you want to hear more.
But that's spiritual, not physical.
Wait, we'll get to it. That's the point. When you hear a shi'ur, when you finish the shi'ur, you fulfill. Am I right? Okay. Let's go to a party, a person gone to a party, a person gone, I don't know what, with his friends to a pub, wherever you want to call it, gone to see a movie, to a concert. At that time, he's happy. After he finished with that, You wanted to watch a soccer game, now it's the Mondial, you know, there's soccer. After the soccer game finish, all the air gone down. After you've been in a shi'ur, you feel much better. Not only that, if you done any hesed, any gmilut hasadim, you feel all the time fulfilled. Your neshama is full. So where is the difference? The difference is come here, and with that I'm going to conclude because we're going to finish that session next week. The difference is we're never going to be satisfied. You know why? Because our sages say, and I'm going to bring next week what the Ramhal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, say, that he was one of the giants in Kabbalah, and most of the Mekubalim say, that you know why we don't feel fulfilled? Because the neshama doesn't get what she wants. We think that the physical thing going to fill up our desire. It does, but for a short time. When I buy a brand new cell phone, or I buy a brand new car, so that will last me for a week, 2, a month, and then things carry on. But when you hear a nice hidush, or when you say a nice hidush, how happy you are with yourself after that. You go home, you're full. You're happy. Your neshama got what you want. So now it's just the introduction for next week's shiur to understand that number one, whatever happened to us, we have to understand that where does it come from? It's come from the Almighty. The same like a father that sees his son playing in the mud just before Shabbos, and he makes the shirt dirty. But listen, my boy, the father say, please do not play with the mud. That's the only white shirt that you have. And if you're going to make it dirty, you can't go to shul. And guess what? The boy done it. And then the father say, you can't come to shul with that dirty shirt. And the boy starts crying. Is the father hate that son, that he doesn't take him to shul? Or when the father see in summer, in winter, where's Lionel? I saw Lionel. Oh, here's Lionel. Lionel always walk with short sleeve, him and Errol. They don't feel cold, I don't know. We wear jackets, they take off. As much that I put on, they take. You know, if I see my son in winter walking with a short sleeve, and it's freezing outside, and I say to my son, listen, my young man, please, put a jersey on you. Does that mean that I hate my son? But my son say, listen, father, you say that you love me, Abba. How can you force me to put a jersey? Yes, my son, I do love you. But the reason that I told you to put a jersey, why? Because I don't want you to, has v'shalom, to get sick. Nachon? That's the only reason that I do it. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, has v'shalom, okay, when he put us in a position that we in stress, that we lost the job, or that the shidduch didn't work, or whatever the case is, for business people, we gone to a tender, we put the tender. But they didn't accept my quote. They didn't. I lost the tender. HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it to punish me. I must look at it as a punishment, or I must look at it like Rabbi Akiva, like we mentioned earlier. So to understand that, by next week, please God, we'll go to the next session to understand how do we get happy, how do we feel fulfilled, and then we're being happy. So the physical thing that we have, a cell phone, it's a temporary fulfilling. A new car, it's a temporary fulfilling of happiness. How do we reach to the higher potential of fulfilling? How does a person become happy when he come home and he hear the wife? Everyone know wife love to talk. Nachon? Wife can talk on the phone much longer than anyone else. Why? Because the Gemara said, Tish'a kabim shel dibur yardu la'olam. 10 measures of talking came down to the world. Tish'a natlu nashim. 9 of them, the woman. One measure. One of them, the rest of the world. How does it work? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the halakhites. Why? When you come home and you see a wife talking to her mother on the phone, or she talking to her sister, or she talking to a friend, and you want to speak to her, but she's already 20 minutes on the phone. And you ask yourself, when is she going to finish that conversation? Or you ask your wife, you know what, next week, can we go to your mother for Shabbos for lunch, and she phoned her mother, and for 20 minutes she hugged with her mother. After 20 minutes you ask her, tell me, did you ask your mom, can we come for lunch? No, I forgot. It's a common thing. And then you get cross. Why do you get cross? But if you know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a woman to talk, you're not going to get cross. Because the Gemara said, 10 קבים של דיבור ירדו, 10 קבים של דיבור ירדו לעולם, 9 נתנו לנשים. 9 of them took the woman. Why are you getting cross? Because she loved to talk. No. You say, if I was in her position, you can't be in her position. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu given them the ability to talk. Why did he give them ability to talk? Oh, that's a different question. Why is it? Because they all day spend with the kids. They give the chinuch. You're not at home, you're all day at work. So who's going to discipline the kids? The wife. All day speak to them. Who's doing homework with them, you or her? And if there is something at school, do you leave and you run straight, mommy? No, they don't phone daddy, they phone mommy. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created them. By the way, to tell you, they done a statistic in the world. How many people, they done a statistic, men and women, who start talking earlier? The boys or the girls? The statistics show girls. You know that? The statistics show that girls, there is hardly girls that can't talk.
Not talking, even walking.
Yeah. How come? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu given that, and our sages tell us. But when we read, we don't understand. When the Gemara tell us, 10 קבים של דיבור ירדו לעולם, our sages come to tell us that don't get upset with your wife. Even that she talked to her mother for half an hour, or the friend that you're supposed to go for lunch. And then, yes, she forgot. So what if she forgot? No, but if it was me, it would take me 2 minutes. I don't talk a lot on the phone. But that's you. That's not her. And you don't have that, the desire to talk. But you have a different desire. And that, please God, will go next week to understand that happiness, it's not what we think. It's what we have in mind. But if we have the right way to look at things, we'll achieve happiness at home, at work, in general. And that's what we have today that our grandparents never have. Today there's many people that take medication. Where's Menachem? What's the statistic show today? You are in a psychology field. How many people today not happy with their life? That they take drugs? What is the statistic? Sorry?
The number of prescriptions for antidepressants
Yes.
in a year is
In billion. Sure. I didn't think like this. I was thinking that they're like maximum 1 million, but if you jump to 1 billion. So why is that? Because people not happy with their life. Please God, Be'ezrat Hashem will continue next week, and we'll see the next part, how to get to happiness.